After the first days passed, something became very clear to me. Wanting to change wasn't enough. Understanding things wasn't enough. Even reading wasn't enough anymore. If I truly wanted to rebuild myself, I needed practices, not ideas. Something I could return to on days when motivation disappeared, because motivation always disappears. What carried me forward wasn't intensity, it was repetition. I started with breath work because it was simple. No equipment, no preparation, just breath. At first, it didn't feel special at all. Yes, my mind slowed down while I was breathing, but the moment I stopped, everything came rushing back. I remember wondering if this was really doing anything, but I kept going. Slowly, I realized the breath wasn't there to fix me. It was there to teach me how to stay with discomfort, to stay with sensation, to stay with myself. That's when I added cold showers. The first time I lasted 10 seconds. My body panicked immediately. Every instinct told me to escape, to turn the water warm, to stop. Nothing was actually wrong, but my nervous system didn't know that. So instead of fighting the cold, I focused on my breathing. 10 seconds became 30. 30 became a minute. One day, without planning it, I stayed under cold water for the entire shower. The cold stopped feeling like punishment. It became training, not for the body, but for the mind. A few days later, during longer breathing sessions, something changed. My hands began to tingle. My body felt lighter. Time felt different. It wasn't euphoria. It wasn't escape. It felt like presence, like my system was finally resetting after years of tension. Meditation was harder, much harder. I started with guided sessions, but my mind refused to cooperate. Thoughts kept pulling me away. Memories, fears, unfinished conversations, imagined futures. At first, that frustrated me. Then I remembered something I had read, especially in The Power of Now. The goal isn't to silence the mind. The goal is to notice when you've left the present and gently return. So every time my attention wandered, I brought it back. Again, and again, and again. Not perfectly, just patiently. It took weeks before I experienced even one full minute of real stillness. No inner dialogue, no noise, just breath and awareness. That single minute changed everything. I listened to voices that helped me understand consciousness rather than escape it. Alan Watts, Bob Proctor, Aaron Doughty, Sadhguru, and many more. Not because they had answers, but because they reminded me how to listen. At night, before sleep, I added a grounding ritual. I would review my day honestly without judgment. Then I would give myself assignments for tomorrow. At first, just 3 things. Not goals, simple actions. The point wasn't to complete everything, it was to practice choosing. Over time, 3 became 5. 5 became 7. 7 became 10. Something unexpected happened. I didn't become more productive. I became more selective. I learned the difference between what feels urgent and what actually matters. Eventually, I reached a point where I completed all 10. Not because I forced myself, but because I finally understood what deserved my energy. Chanting came later, and it challenged me in a different way. It wasn't relaxing at first. The posture felt unnatural. The breath felt forced. Finding the right vibration took effort. Chanting 108 times required full presence. There was nowhere to hide. At the beginning, it felt mechanical. I was focused on doing it right, matching the tone, following the rhythm, not losing control. But slowly, the sound stopped being something I was producing and became something I was inside of. Isn't just a sound, it's vibration. And vibration pulls attention out of thought and into sensation. Then, during one session, something happened. Halfway through chanting, my awareness shifted. My body felt heavy and light at the same time. Heat rose through me. My entire body vibrated intensely. For a moment that felt timeless, I experienced myself from above. Awareness observing the body below, slow and still, as if resistance itself had disappeared. I don't label that experience lightly. I didn't chase it, and I didn't try to repeat it. What many call astral projection, I experienced as complete absence of resistance. No fear, no thought, no effort. When I returned, the room looked the same, but my relationship with my body and my mind had changed. None of these practices worked overnight. None of them were magical, and none of them are guaranteed to work for everyone. They worked for me because I experimented patiently. I tried things. I adjusted. I removed what didn't help and leaned into what did. There is no universal formula for healing. Every nervous system is different. Every body carries its own history. What matters isn't copying someone else's routine. It's giving yourself permission to experiment and discover what actually supports you. I wasn't broken. I was learning, and learning takes time. In the next episode, I'll talk about what happened when I stopped asking why my life was the way it was and started testing what happens when intention leads action. I'll share the experiments I ran in my own life and the moments that made me realize we're not as powerless as we think. This is where inner work begins shaping the outside world.